Good morning. Shin Nun Tes, a short simon, says entitled Din Rechova Shachari Habatim. It's talking about a yard, an open area, backyard behind the house. Till now we've been talking about a chotzer in front of the house. Now we're talking about a backyard. So Rechova Shachari Habatim, an open area, backyard behind the house. Yeseira al Beisosai, which is very big, bigger than Beisosai. V'lo yehukfa ledira, and it wasn't fenced off for residential purposes. Ein metaltalin bo ela arba amas. You can only carry arba amas there. You can't carry there. If, however, you open up an entranceway from your house and then you makif it, then you fence it off. Even if there's a threshing floor in your backyard between you and behind the house, have a hekef ledira. Nevertheless, it's considered hekef ledira, and therefore you can carry in the whole thing. Says the Rabbi, nowadays people do carry in the backyards, because presumably nowadays they're fenced off for residential purposes for carrying, and therefore it's allowed. Good. Says the Mishnah Berurah, so darkan hoylo niach shetach mokum ponui lifnei abatim. Back in the day, you used to have areas in front of the house and behind the house. The area in front of the house was called a chotzer. That's what it's called, a rechova, an open area behind the house. And you would fence it off. The thing which is in the front yards, which is called a chotzer, for sure, that was fenced for residential use. Because you would do your private things, all the domestic things, you would do there in the chotzer. Therefore, even if the area of the chotzer was larger than Beis Hosayim, even if it was 10 kos, huge, because that's the rule. If it was mukaf ledira and it's even if it's bigger than very, very big, you can carry in the whole thing. You can even carry from the house into the chotzer. If it belongs to one person, or two people, and they made near chatzeres, the rishus hechatu. However, the rechova, which is the backyards behind the house, there is not really fenced off for residential use. You don't used to use it so much for residential use. And therefore it has the status of a karpov in respect of things of the measurement of 2,000 saw, of Beis Hosayim. I don't mean 2,000 saw. The karpov who masha oisen roch me'oeh, and he's got the same din as a karpov, which is more than Beis Hosayim, which is normally a karpov is normally quite distant from the city. They're sort of storage areas, warehouses, and things like that, where you keep your wood. Now, with that divrei Shulchan Aruch, now I can explain with that intro. I can explain the words of the Shulchan Aruch. Rechova shachari hainu shehikif hashetach haponu hazeh b'sholosh mechitzas v'his mechosom lekoisel beisay. In other words, you've got the backyard, and then you fence off 3 fences when it backs onto your house, which is the 4th fence. Because you didn't open it up for before you fenced it off, and therefore all you can do is carry arba amas. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Sifkot and Gimel, ela arba amas kedin shar karpef shelo hukuf ledira. So not only can you only carry 4 amas, you can't just carry regularly in this rechava, but you can't even carry from it into the house. But if this area of a rechava is less than sosayim, then ein lo din karpov, it has not got the din of a karpov, and then you can carry from it into the house. Because it's not a separate entity like a karpov is, like a storehouse distant from the city, because it's considered your backyard. Even if there is a goyrin, even if there was a threshing floor in your backyard before you were makif it, Ein omrim shebishvil hagorin niftach Pesach. You don't say that now that you've opened the Pesach and you're going to fence it off for residential use, it was done for the gorin. Because labais ve'ein kan Pesach l'rechova, and it's not really a Pesach l'rechova, it's a Pesach for the gorin. We don't say that. And a stoma niftach l'rechova, really you opened it up for the backyard. V'harihu mukaf l'dira, and it's now mukaf l'dira, mutar l'talta b'kulev afilu mimenu l'beisei. And therefore, if you redesignate it by being makif it as shem dira, then you can carry in it and from the house into the house, etc. That is the rechov that we spoke about. Okay, good. So just to summarize Shinnotes, what have we said? Very useful hakdom of the Mishnah Berurah. There is a difference between a rechava and a chotze. The chotze is the area in front of the house. The rechava is the area behind the house, a backyard. What's the difference? The difference is whether it's stam mukaf l'dir or not. A chotze, the practice was in those days that you would use it for residential domestic uses, and like the Mishnah, the Gemara talks about in Bava Basra, the chotze they would use. There was hezekriya. You'd use it for private things, but the achere habayis, the rechava behind the house, it was less so, and the default is not. And therefore, if it was mukaf l'dira, then no problem. Then you can carry in it. But if it was not mukaf l'dira, then you could only carry daled amas, and you couldn't carry from the rechava into the house, or vice versa. Beseda. Okay.